You're now tuned in to Hough Nation Sports. Buckle up. Welcome into another episode of Hough Nation Sports Timeout Convos, and this week we're graced with the presence of multi-time Hall of Famer, six-time state champion here in the state of South Carolina, Tim Whipple. Great career at Irmo, but he was other places too. We'll share that with you and give you the whole full resume of Coach Tim Whipple, now retired. And Coach Whipple, glad to have you with us here.
Oh, so it's a pleasure to be here. Beautiful day, pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you sharing some time, man. And we'll get to those championship games, man. I got to call the last two. The last two. Yeah. I think we might have went 1-1 in those last two appearances, but I got to call two. But you're a six-time champion. One thing I just learned in getting ready for this interview, you also not only the South Carolina, the High School Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame here in South Carolina, but also the National High School Athletic Coaches Hall of Fame in 2025 inducted. That's a national organization. So congratulations on that one as well.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I mean, it was a kind of a surprise, but the South Carolina Athletic Coaches Association sent in the nomination, and it was certainly a huge honor.
No doubt, no doubt, Coach. So we know you retired in 2024. I do believe we had your last game on our Watch Fox cameras. I believe we had that game over at Irmo, and I know the outcome of that game. We don't have to talk about the outcome of that game, but we did that one. And so now, what's life like, man? I know you're sitting out there looking at it. It looks beautiful behind you right there. You seem like you're in relaxation mode.
Unfortunately, it's not my house, but it's one of my daughter's houses here. I'm babysitting.
Yeah.
But I am actually coaching the golf team at Irmo right now.
Really?
Yes, so that is 2 years ago, John Goodell, who I don't know if you remember John or not,
Yes.
but coached at Dutch Fork for years and was my assistant at Irmo.
Yeah.
He was the golf coach,
yeah.
and he had to resign for some family situation, and so they couldn't find anybody to do it, and I didn't want to do it, but they asked me to, so I ended up succumbing to the pressure. There's worse things I could be doing.
Absolutely. Coaching golf, that ain't bad, man. I'm going to be, I told Coach Baylor Harris when I had him on the show as well, that I was going to play some golf with him. You coaching golf, I might be scared to play with either one of you guys. You're probably.
Oh, no, that's, I'm coaching golf.
I got you.
I'm not. I told them the first day, I said, if you're looking for a swing coach, you need to go somewhere else. I'll get you where you need to be, and we'll set up stuff. But you're not going to learn anything from me.
I got you. I love it, Coach.
Yeah.
So we know your resume is, I mean, so impressive. 6 titles, several other trips, undefeated team. We'll talk about in a little bit. All that happened, but I want to walk back in this timeout convo to the very beginning. When did young Tim Whipple first realize that sports was kind of his interest? That was his thing. Was it as a young athlete playing, or when did it really strike you that, you know what, this is my thing? I can be good at this stuff.
I went to Spring Valley High School. Matter of fact, the very first year it was formed back in 1971.
Okay.
And my brother was a coach. My father was an athlete. And I can remember in the 9th grade, I actually wrote a little essay. I have it. It's not written very well, but it was an essay. It was talking about what I was going to do with my life, and that was a 14-year-old that knew he wanted to coach. I mean, that's what it was about: coaching and becoming a teacher too, but mainly wanting to coach.
That's good stuff. But that's a lot of people aren't blessed to know at such a young time period. But you're apparently, as you mentioned, it was in the pedigree, the DNA, the athletics was around you from dad and your sibling. So talk to me a little bit about that now. So in Spring Valley, in that early class, you were an athlete there. So what were your sports? What were your things?
Well, I played basketball and baseball.
Okay.
And was probably a better baseball player than I was a basketball player. But it played. As soon as I got on at school, same way in college, as soon as I got it to school, we were working the basketball, playing. As soon as I got off the court, I was on the baseball field, and then of course we played all summer too.
Yes,
So
and coach, I tell people this all the time. I was a basketball baseball guy as well, and people don't realize when you come off the basketball court, that baseball seems extra small the first couple of days, doesn't it?
yeah,
It's like the size
yeah.
of a pea, and you have to get your eyes back adjusted. Uh,
It is different, that's for sure. And I wore glasses too, so it made it even harder.
yeah. Well, I
uh,
should have worn my. I broke. I lost a couple of pair. My dad said he wouldn't buy me anymore. So that last
mm,
year, I was squinting. I was Mr. Squinty. So talk about Spring Valley. So then Erskine, up in due
right.
west South Carolina, you went on to play
Yep.
some ball at Erskine. Talk about the Erskine experience.
Yeah, that was one of the few places that I could have, but back when USC Aiken was a junior college back then, it wasn't a 4-year school,
Right.
and Erskine were the only two that I could play both. So I said, well, the junior college situation I wasn't quite sure about, and so Erskine and it is, even though it's impossible to find, you only are lost if you're there, type of situation. But
Yes.
it was perfect. It was the people there are fantastic. The professors, it's a community. Everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
It's just it was a great experience, especially for me because that's all I wanted to do.
Right. Right.
I wasn't worried about all the other stuff.
So a lot of people don't know this part. So when you leave Erskine, you were a JV coach. You were at Winsboro at some point. Um,
Yeah, the
talk
first year
about
at
tell us.
Lexington.
Right. Yeah. Start there. You walk us through your places you were
Yeah,
before you got to Irmo when
well,
you became a legend.
this is kind of interesting. My last 2 years at Erskine during the summer, I worked at Myrtle Beach. I worked at a place called the Gay Dolphin, which is still there,
Okay.
and printed T-shirts. It was back when you screen printed
Yeah.
T-shirts,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
put the T-shirts down and put some type of emblem on them, and I'd
Yeah.
come out and I'd have no hair in my face and arms and and
Yeah.
everything. But I worked there for 2 summers and was all set to go to Myrtle Beach. And be the JV. I was actually going to coach football too.
Oh, really?
They had an opening, and I had interviewed at Lexington. And when I left Lexington, they told me that they wanted to hire me. And I was waiting on Myrtle Beach. That's what I really wanted to do.
I got you.
And so I left Lexington. I committed to it. I said, okay, I'm coming. Well, the day I get back from the interview, Myrtle Beach offers me. And it was kind of, it was kind of a situation, but it was the way I was. It was the way
Right.
I raised.
Yeah.
That's the way you were supposed to be. I gave them my word, and then I was going to go to Lexington, even though that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stay in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
So I ended up going to Lexington, coaching with Ken Long. And I don't know if anybody remembers Ken. That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it was probably the best thing I could have ever done.
Yeah.
Uh, so I was at Lexington and then went to Winsboro for a year and then worked for one of the finest human beings I've ever been around in Eddie Raines. And I think that actually is what shaped me coaching wise more than anything else, working with him that year.
And you know what? To help people out, because you and I are of a certain age, and
Yeah.
from my time, it changed during my time in high school, right after high school. But for the folks, when he says Winsboro, that's what's now Fairfield Central.
Fairfield Central,
It was
exactly.
Winsboro
A
High,
little
and they
different.
changed in the mid to late '80s. It became
Yeah.
Fairfield.
Yeah.
Actually, '89, I think it
Yeah.
became Fairfield Central. But
A
that's
little
that's
different
that's what
situation back in the 70s.
absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
without a doubt. So, with that being said, now this is interesting. A lot of people don't know. We get a lot of people's, Tim Whipple clock starts at Irmo, and not just at Irmo.
Hmm.
It starts in the '90s in Irmo. This is still in the '70s. In '81, you
Yep.
got hired your first head job, right?
Yeah, I was the JV coach 2 years at Irmo before I got the head job.
Right.
Danny Monk, who again, these are all old people. I'm an old man, so these are all old people. But Danny was an assistant at Carolina with Frank McGuire for a while, and then when Frank was let go, he got the job at Irmo. They hired him there. I was JV coach there already,
Right.
and he only lasted 1 year. And he left in August. Did me a favor because when he left in August, they really had nobody else to hire.
No choice.
So they were willing to give me a chance to do that, and it was well, little did they know I'd never leave.
43 years.
45 years later.
45 years, yes. You're right. 45 now, right? Because man, that is a coach. People don't do anything for 40 years anymore.
Well, exactly.
And
You're exactly right.
so you got a lot of things going for you that not only the longevity, but the success we're about to talk about. So 81, you become the head coach, I believe.
Right.
And then there was a 10-year, and that's another thing that's not done anymore, patience.
Sure.
So 10, you won your first title in 91.
Yep. People don't we actually played in 90 against Eau Claire and lost to them, but then won the next year against James Island.
Right.
But it was one of those, it's not like it is now where people are changing all over the place. You knew what you had. You had a chance to build a program.
Yeah.
We had a few good years in there, but it was kind of tough. But I think it was a combination of us having a tremendous coaching staff. I had some great assistant coaches, and then our hard work, and then the dedication of our players. I mean, I coach some warriors now. I coach some guys that got after it, and made me an awful good coach from about that point on.
Yeah, I was going to get to that. Name some of those guys. I know. I just one of my prior interviews just a few weeks ago was BJ Mackey.
Right. Yeah. Well, he was one of them, obviously.
He has to be on that list, and a lot of people, even though you had success before that, a lot of people, tie you two together, and they should. But a lot of people really statewide, and him being a McDonald's All-American, and even national a little bit regionally, really put that mid 90s or early to mid 90s with BJ as your announcement to here we are at Irmo. So talk about those years going to that 91 win, this first championship, and then the BJ Mackey year.
It was actually the person that kind of was that there was even an article in the paper, the limousine of the team was Pat Marshall. And Pat played at Furman University and had a great career there, and still very close friends. But he was the one that kind of got it started there, and then along with BJ, Marvin Orange, who went to Alabama.
Another good guy.
Those three, and then we had some really, really good players with them, and then right on their heels, or right with them, Ronnie Cannon, who played at Presbyterian, was a Division II All-American at the time.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, he has a son that's pitching with the White Sox right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So that tree, the tentacles of the tree still.
Sure. But those are the guys, those were probably the ones that got things moving. And then, of course, you got Jordan Roper, Dietrich Browning. I had some really, really good players.
Roper ended up playing to fill people in. Roper ended up playing a good career at Clemson. Browning became Francis Marion's all-time leading scorer, I believe.
Exactly.
Still overseas balling, I think. I know he went over there and did a lot of great things over in Europe. But Browning was a kid I thought should have got some looks in the NBA, maybe.
He just a little too small, probably, to be able to do that. Not a good enough. I think it's the same thing happened to BJ. Neither one of them were good enough shooters. They were good shooters, but not good enough. Right. And then their size, kind of at that time, they couldn't do it. But Dietrich is still playing, and so very proud of him. He's done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, I did. I did a couple of y'all's games on radio and on TV when Browning was there as well. And so you won 6. So talk us through. I know BJ got 2, I think, when he was there. Did BJ get 2?
That sounds right. It might be. It was 2.
Okay.
It was 2.
So 91. The next championship after 91 was what year? I don't want to text you. I know
we played in 5 state championship games in a 6-year period.
Wow.
From 90 to 96.
Wow.
And it went like this. We lost Eau Claire, we beat James Island, we lost to James Island, we beat Dorman.
Yep.
We beat Hillcrest Simpsonville. which there was Ray Allen and Hillcrest and Dazzell,
Absolutely.
and then we lost to Lexington in the last one in that stretch.
Yeah, I remember those games. Now I'm gonna pause you right there. I read somewhere that you said on your list of greatest players you coached against, Ray Allen's on that a short list of the greatest players you
Oh,
coached against.
absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I guess pure talent. LJ Peak was incredible
He was.
that we coached against, and then but Ray Allen was literally unstoppable. There was not, as a coach, you were totally helpless. You just had to hope that he and his teammates
Yeah.
held him back.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
all,
He limited
because
his.
you couldn't do anything with him.
No doubt. He's an NBA Hall of Famer. So that, to get to catch a guy like that when he's young and really rise to become that peak of who he's supposed to be, that you call it, that's a tough time.
Oh, it
Young
was fun
athletic Ray
though.
Allen.
It was going to see that they had a little tiny little gym
Yeah.
at Hillcrest,
Yeah.
and literally, like, if it, when you tried to inbound the ball, people would be standing right there or sitting right there on top, and they would, like, so you'd inbound it and start to run,
And
and your
somebody's feet
feet
right
would
there.
be like a cartoon because they'd be holding on to you. You're short, and you'd be moving, but it was so much fun.
I can
It
believe that I used to accuse Sherrod. That was our Rob. I'm from Chesterfield. I used to accuse the Sherrod people of tripping you on when you ran down the side. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seemed like they were really close to the court. I'll say that.
I know it.
Yeah, so some of those, it's not. But don't you love those old rivalries in the
Oh,
small gyms? There's something special about it.
it was absolutely incredible. I mean, it was packed. They brought in a baseball bleacher that they put in the little stage they
Yeah,
had, so
yeah,
they had
yeah,
people sitting there. They had a cart that like you couldn't get up to go to the concession stand or anything. So, like, during timeouts and at halftime and
yeah.
stuff, they had a cart they pushed around so people could,
You couldn't
buy
move.
stuff. Yeah, it was great. It was,
That's the good stuff.
yep, for
That's the good
sure.
stuff. So, Coach, that being said, if you talk about that, and that's a perfect segue. I didn't plan it this way, but that's a perfect segue. Those are intimidating places. But over the years, I want you to speak to this. Tim Whipple and Irmo became a very intimidating place for a lot of people to go. You had an aura in that arena as well. Talk about that.
For sure. Especially early on, because we had an old yellow tartan floor,
Yeah,
which people wouldn't remember. We finally had it. We got a wood floor in '92,
yeah,
but before that it was there. But we had these lights, these vapor type of lights,
yeah,
and they gave off a yellow tint.
yeah,
So like, it was just this little, you walked into the place and it was like going into something really spooky, and we loved it. It was fun. We packed, and you know how big that gym is.
yes, yes,
And in those days, I mean, literally we'd fill the place up, like when we played Lexington.
yeah,
Uh, you turn people away, and we held 3,000,
yeah.
seats in that place. So,
Listen, mid-90s, Coach. I'm gonna tell you right now, mid-90s. I think I was newly married. I'm well out of college, newly married. Me and some of my buddies, we were probably 5, 6 years out of Carolina. We loaded up a car to come see you guys play.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the attention you guys were getting, and it was. And I think me and BJ talked about. I think it might have been you guys against Hartsfield with Moo Blakeney. It
Oh,
might have
that
been the
was
night, but it was packed, and
incredible.
it was like a college atmosphere in there. But it was so special. You could feel it.
That was one incredible game too.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was,
oh yeah. Two guys that could straight up go get buckets, man.
yeah,
And it's again, you mentioned the atmosphere. When people walk in there, the visitors, they know they're, it's like, Dorothy, you're not in Kansas anymore. You're in Irmo. You're in a different
yeah.
place.
It was big. See, most people didn't have um as big of gyms. They had
Yeah,
back, especially in the '90s,
yeah,
they had more high school type of gyms.
yeah.
We had that huge stands on one side,
Yeah.
and
But up
it
and
was,
up.
yeah, it was an intimidating place to play, and we tried to take advantage of that, obviously.
Well, you clearly did. Coach, how many career wins was it? I know it's 6 titles. How many wins?
um, you know, I was the last year we kind of figured that I'd get up to, I don't know exactly what it is, was what I'm getting to, but we were shooting for 850.
It's
So it's
somewhere in the 800s,
under
man.
850. I went from winning our last state championship
Yeah.
to the next year, the very worst season we've ever had. So it was like we only had to win 8 or 9 games to get to 850, which was
Yeah,
kind of a benchmark, right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but we didn't make
It was
it.
a tough. It was a tough year, but I'm gonna get. I'm glad you mentioned that because the year before that, we're gonna build up to that year because I want to talk about. I mentioned B.J. Mackey, his son Justin, who's a great official now, but had a great career,
Yep.
a strong career in South Carolina. But he did something at Irmo that B.J. didn't do. So talk about of all these great teams, the 6 chips, the 6 titles, the undefeated team. Is
Yeah.
that 2013?
Pretty special. 2013. Yep.
Justin
Yeah.
Mackey and those guys. Talk about
Yep.
that feeling that season.
Well, yeah, I mean, you certainly don't do that, especially go undefeated, unless you've got some really good players.
Right.
And I mean, which is unusual for us. Usually we'd have 7 or 8 players.
Right.
We had 9 or 10 that
Right.
could all play.
Yeah.
And of course, Dietrich was the main one there.
Yes.
Well, the current coach at Irmo now, Alex Quillen, was on that team.
Absolutely. That's
Uh,
right. That's right.
he was, and as a matter of fact, we were playing. I can't even remember who we were playing now, but it was a semifinal game or maybe even a third round game,
Yeah.
and he ends up hitting our last 3 shots and a 3-pointer that we don't. If he doesn't make,
Yeah.
we're not in the state championship game. We don't even get that far. But it's that is a really special team, and I think what I enjoyed more than anything else is not just that these guys were great basketball players, which they were, but they were just such great kids.
Yeah.
They showed up every single day, many times knowing that we were playing somebody that we were much better than,
Yeah.
and just every single day came ready to get better, listen, and be coached. Never did they, try to pull attitudes. Even Mackey,
Right. Right.
which
Even like yeah.
sometimes he would.
Right. Right.
But I just saw Justin the other day. He was in our practice gym, going through uh, officiating stuff, going through
Good
his
stuff.
mechanics
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
his voice, and
Yeah.
going through stuff and sitting there practicing it, which
That's
I
good
thought was
stuff.
pretty neat. Yep,
Yeah.
pretty
Absolutely.
dedicated.
He's on his way. He's got a great future in that. And
Yep.
and the game needs referees like him who
Oh,
played at
for
a certain
sure.
level, young and athletic. They need that.
Yep.
I want to take time out for a moment to thank the sponsors that make it all happen here at Hough Nation Sports. I want to thank Rockamoss and rockamoss.com. Fuel your glow from the sea below. Go to rockamoss.com for all of your CMOS needs. Of course, Alpha Insurance Solutions, LLC, for all your insurance needs. Reach them at 803-427-1327. Then, when it comes to real estate, for all your home buying and selling needs, it is Karen Alexander and her outstanding staff at SM Realty and Associates, LLC. The number 803-445-7185. The email KarenAlexander773@gmail.com. Once again, for all your home buying and selling needs, SM Realty and Associates, LLC. And want to thank GFHRsports.com. And NIL attorney can help you with all your NIL questions and concerns. Go to the website, GFHRsports.com, when it comes to NIL. And now, back to the episode.
Yeah. But that's good stuff. And so I told you I had a certain way I want to break this down. So that championship team in 2013 did something with I think 29-0, and I called that game. I shameless play. I called that game, and I was very down the stretch watching the reaction because BJ was sitting there, and I know there was emotion to see. That's for you as a coach, the dawn of the whole thing. That's a second generation right there. What was that feel like emotionally?
Yeah, there aren't many times. I mean, you coach siblings many, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Not many times do you coach father and son,
Right.
and that's due to longevity, obviously, but at the same time, especially at a high level. As a matter of fact, I think, and I could be wrong here, but I think that out of the 6 state championships, there was a Mackey on 4 of them.
Is that true? Oh,
I think
wow.
2011 and 2013, Justin,
Right.
and then 2000 or not 2000, 1994 and 5, BJ.
That's true. That's wow.
Yep.
That is special. the Mackey Whipple Irmo
The Mackey
triumvirate.
clan, man.
It's the clan. That's it, man. That Mackey. Hey, listen, that is really special, man.
Yeah.
Because BJ told a story about he kind of transferred over. You brought him up to varsity, and at one point he thought he was going to Eau Claire, and it worked. Everything just fell into
That's
place.
right. Well, I think that to hear his part of it, I think he was, as a seventh grader, our middle school coach cut him.
Yeah, he told yeah.
So
he told me that story on the show. Yeah.
They weren't real pleased with that, and then so there was kind of talk about it, but give Bernard credit, his dad. He just said, "Man, if you weren't good enough to make the team, then you're just going to have to work harder." And of course,
the rest
is history.
Man, did great things there, including a 42-point state championship game, and then of course the University of South Carolina all-time leading scorer, and the way people move around now, and I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know how that's ever broken.
It's not. It
won't be ever broken because, Coach, if you're good enough, if you're that good, you don't stay 4 years, and nobody stays 4 years anyway now. So I don't think it's ever going to be touched.
Yeah,
I
don't see it. I don't see how it's going to happen with today's time. That's a whole nother subject.
Right. You know what? And there's going to be some conversations down the road. I may have you back for another show for that. I have some strong thoughts on it as well.
Yeah.
So okay, let's walk through then. So then there was a little bit of a drought. And then that team in 24, I mean, was it 23? With Crawford.
Yes. Yeah. Well, now see, just to go back there, we actually played. We lost to Dorman in a state championship game.
Burns.
We lost to Burns in a state championship game. We lost to Blythewood in the semifinal game.
Sure did. Yes. That was in Florence.
Yes. We beat them, when we got ready to play Dorman. And those two teams, probably neither one of them were state championship caliber teams, but it just shows you what that hard work and being warriors and what they, the attitudes of those guys, they got us there. Winston Hill, I know you remember Winston was part of that. I remember
Winston very well. Yeah, he was dead.
So I then everything kind of came together, in 23 after COVID and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think again, some pretty good players, but Brandon Crawford, who was the 6'9" kid, he was just, I say it, and I can still say it, even though people say it, he was the most dominant player I ever coached because he totally changed games. BJ was fantastic. Dietrich was. What they did was phenomenal, but Brandon changed games. It was incredible.
I interviewed you twice. I'm a personal preference. I'm gonna walk you through. Twice that year, I had your games on TV. Early in the season, you may not remember this. You guys played Richard Northeast early in the season. Went down to the wire. And Brandon Crawford blocked a three. He blocked somebody's 3-point. He came out the paint, and it was like a shark jumping out the water, a whale. And he came out and blocked the 3-pointer. And I can't remember who I was doing the game with. I said, that kid right there is special. And I remember talking to you before the championship game. You said he's the most dominant shot blocker you ever coached.
Oh, the timing, the ability. He would literally, Stacy, like catch balls.
Yeah.
Like he'd go to block them. He wouldn't block them. He'd like catch them. And just go down the floor. He was a little behind offensively.
Yes.
But we had enough other people where all he had to do was, get stick backs, dunk balls, shoot little turnarounds, that type of stuff.
That team, and of course, had AJ Brand on it, who's going to end up being a really great college football player. But he came out of semi-basketball retirement as a sophomore and started for you. That team was put together, and everything seemed to fall into place. And I'm gonna give you credit. You had that team from when I saw them against Richard Northeast to the playoffs. You did some great coaching with that team, Coach.
Well, I appreciate that. They were easy to coach. That's the thing about it. And we went, see, Brandon got mono too. We went like 3 games or 4 games without him. And so they learned to play different ways and what they needed to do. And the main focus was they didn't care who scored. They didn't care how they scored. They just wanted to win. And when you've got that going for you and you got some good players, you're in pretty good shape as a coach, at least.
Without a doubt, Coach. So that was your final. That was the sixth and final
Yep.
championship. It's Timeout Convo's name of the show, so I got to call a timeout right here. We're gonna go from 30, and we're gonna take it full right here, Coach. We're gonna take it full,
Okay.
stretch your arms out. So let's find out a little bit something about Coach Tim Whipple in this timeout that everybody might not know. So, Coach, what's a hidden talent or a hobby, a way you like to spend your time? Not just now as a retired guy, but all through life. Some things that people might surprise people that you do to amuse
Yeah.
yourself or to entertain yourself.
You mentioned that to me before, so I was kind of trying to think.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I'm a really boring person.
Ah,
I don't do anything. I will tell you the only thing that I could come up with is I can juggle basketballs. I
I
can
can
do three
too.
basketballs, okay, which is not easy to do because
No.
they're kind of big, especially as little as I am. And of course, I can spin a ball all kinds of different ways. But I guess the only thing that I have, the only hidden talent I had was if it got down to horse and it was the last shot,
Yeah.
I was going to win because I would spin the ball and it would spin, and then I would kind of toss it up and hit it with my head, and I'd always bank it, boom, boom, and it would just boom, and I would score, and I'd always win that last shot
Okay.
because nobody else could do that.
Coach,
So that's
Coach
my
Tim,
only hidden talent.
I love it. But Coach Tim Whipple, Mr. Fundamentals, Mr. X and O, you have a globetrotter trick. So that's good.
That's it. That's right.
That's a globetrotter trick. So I used to juggle baseballs at first, and then I tried it. I finally got a point I could do basketball. Baseballs were
Yeah,
fun though.
for sure.
That's the hand-eye coordination, Coach. That makes us special.
Well, exactly. It took a while, but it was something you had to work at it to do it. But
Were you a middle infielder?
I was a second baseman.
That's me. See, man, come
Yeah.
on, Coach. See, that's that double play. That hand. That's the joke. That's the
Yep.
point guard, second baseman. That was my thing, man. So I see. I love. See, we got things in common. I see.
Sure.
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? So with that being said, I got to ask you about music. What's your musical taste? What's your go-to if you're in the car or?
Okay. Okay. I am 70 years old. Okay.
Wow, that's
But people don't always realize how old I am. I've been, I coached I was a teacher for 47 years.
whew,
I was a coach for 45 and I was a head coach for 43.
respect.
That's a long time.
Respect.
So I'm a 70s guy. So,
Okay.
we're talking about the Eagles and Tom Petty and
Yeah.
Three Dog Night
Okay.
and
Creedence.
Leonard Skinner and
Were you down with Creedence? Creedence Clearwater?
Creedence Clearwater Revival for
I love
sure.
that.
Just saw John Fogerty in Charleston
Really?
last year. Yeah, he was
I'm
there.
a fan.
Yeah, so that's the type of music that I grew up with and loved. But see, like I listened to anything. I was a driver's ed teacher for 15 years.
Okay.
So our deal was when we got into the car, I let you if you were driving, you could listen to whatever music you wanted to.
Okay. Okay.
So I listened to everything. It didn't matter to me. I appreciate music. I love music because I can't play, can't sing, can't do anything. So I have great
Right.
respect for it.
Right.
So I do love it. But it's like I was walking the other day and I have a little playlist thing like that, but I have like Jelly Roll, Shabuzi, Post Malone.
Okay. You love versatility.
Well, exactly.
I love it.
I
So
do
that's
a lot.
that's good info. I love that stuff, man. I see you smiling about it too. You really, I can
Well, I
tell you.
do. I love it. I love
Yeah.
music.
Yeah, music is good. Like I said, I'm the guy who appreciates music too because I have zero musical talent. So I appreciate and respect it. So I have a very diverse palette for music.
Yeah. So, but one of the things that I didn't give up on for a long time was like pregame stuff.
Yeah.
And of course, the kids, as we changed, the kids wanted to play more and more, type of stuff. And I
Yeah.
would we would jock jam it. We weren't gonna.
You kept it rock and jock.
I would, yeah, I wasn't gonna let him. I'd never give up on that, And then when Alex came and those last groups started coming, I just let him take care of the music, and I didn't worry about it. But
At some point, but you held the line. You held the line for you.
yeah, they get mad at me, but I said, hey, this is what we're listening to.
Hey, I love it. Hey, Coach, I love you. You had a standard, and I think legacy was the standard, a standard of legacy. And you had some sayings you used, and you set a hard line of expecting excellence out of your program, and you got it.
Oh yeah.
And that leads me to my last couple of questions. One of them is this, Coach. Looking back, and I don't want you to don't alienate anybody, but you have any special? You don't have to say special favorite players, but favorite moments that when you sit back now in retirement, you look back and they come to your mind first. And you say, you know what? It was a really good run. What are those moments? Give me 3 or 4 moments, or 2 or 3 moments that you look back and it really you feel like stick with you the most from your
Yeah,
career.
I think probably the one that comes up initially all the time is that like in 83, maybe
Yeah,
80 something early on,
yeah,
we had a guy named Jeff Himes and Robert Hill. Jeff Himes went to Davidson, Robert Hill went to Western Carolina, and we played Dorman in a semifinal game. And back then we got to play whoever was seated higher at home the entire time until the state championship.
uh-huh.
And we ended up losing to Dorman in a 5 overtime game. Just a heart-wrenching, just
Wow,
unbelievable. 5 overtimes. Can you imagine that? You know
that's
what
wild.
that was like. And then, of course, the first state championship that we won against James Island was incredible. Um, we ended up coming back from 15 points down at halftime and winning that state championship.
Yeah.
And then I really think my most favorite one, because it was the one that I least expected,
I know.
was
I
the
already.
last one.
I was about to say. I knew it was that one. I talked, Coach. I didn't want to say this. I'm glad you said, because I interviewed you twice, and
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of coaches, and I was like, I don't think he thinks this team might be there yet. And because I asked you this question, I asked all coaches this, but I asked you especially that year. I said, what makes you want to keep coaching? And you said, as long as they're listening. He said,
Yep,
this group
sure.
does. And you told me, you said this group listens.
Yep.
And I
They
said, so
were
that gave.
coachable.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. You said as
And
long
it,
as the
and
kids
it,
want to listen, want to be coached, I'll still want to do it. And
it's
that,
good to
yeah, I
remember
could
that.
tell. Look, they peaked at the right time to win a chip. And again, I was glad to say I called that. Like I said, I called it. I don't root, but I remember just because saw you guys on our regular season schedule early in the season at like in January up in Richard North. I felt like I wasn't a part of it, but I felt like I saw the beginning of it. And I saw you when you held the trophy.
Yeah.
You sent me a picture. There's a picture of me.
Well, that's right. I did. That was that game for sure. It is. I think when like our undefeated team,
Yeah,
I didn't know we were going to be undefeated,
right.
but I think we had a chance of winning a state championship, and I knew it. And then of course as time was going on, I was saying, this is a pretty special group,
Yeah,
and we got a chance, and we did. But this team, we struggled. We went through adversity. Uh, we never like dominated people, but we as we got along. I mean, I just when I was looking for those pictures, I saw a screenshot. We were ahead of Lancaster at one point, who was a very good team,
yes,
30-9. They couldn't score, and it
right.
was partly because of Brandon.
They tried to
You
rally,
know,
but it wasn't happening. I remember they tried to make a look. It was not happening.
no, no, and it was just our guys.
Yeah,
Just they were relentless,
yeah.
and it was a pleasure to be around them. And I think a lot of times, as a coach, that's hard to enjoy. And that is one thing about me. I never enjoyed the moment. I always enjoyed the moment later.
Right, right.
When I looked back, I could never enjoy what was going on. And I think, in a way I say, God, I wish I could have been that dude that got all excited and did all that stuff. But then again, I don't know if we would have had the success had I been that way.
You wouldn't have been
Uh,
you. Yeah.
yeah, well, see, exactly. So you have to live with that. I mean, that's what you have to do. Does Nick Saban ever look like he's happy?
I got a story I
You
can
know?
share. He never. I know a guy who coached on the staff and said when the plane landed from the championship, he said, "When the plane lands, I need plans for what we're going to do next year when the plane hits
Yeah.
the ground."
Well, there you go.
And that's the guy
Yeah,
that comes from someone who was on the coaching staff with him.
sure.
It's almost miserable, but that's the way you have to almost be that way.
Well,
And now you got the rest of your life that'll look back.
and that's the fun part of it, is that you do get to reflect and see. There's no tomorrow now. that you have to worry about. There's
Right, exactly. Yeah.
that's over with. You only have to, sit back there. And I'm real blessed because I get at Irmo. See, I go anytime I want. I still am friends with everybody.
Yeah.
Alex is coaching them, so I can go to practice. I can leave when I want, come when I want. That stuff is so many people in any profession don't leave on their own terms.
Right.
They
That's
leave
true.
because with somebody else forces them to for whatever reason. Sometimes it's ugly. See, I never had to do that. I left when I wanted to leave, and I'm still very welcome there. So
Hey, look, that's a perfect way you went out the right way. So as we wrap it up, I don't know you want to name your family, your wife is supportive. Or just give her some love. Your wife.
for sure, let me. I'm extremely proud, any coach will tell you that their family's the one that generally suffers the most. Now, I had both my girls went to Irmo, so I saw them every day
Yeah.
and what they do. But let me give you a quick rundown. Valerie, my wife, of course, we've been married. It'll be 46 years this June 28th, 46 years.
Respect.
And of course, the sacrifices she's made over the years is just you can't put that into words.
Right.
My oldest daughter, Kate, and her husband have two grandchildren, one 12, one 12, one 8. So I have a boy that's 12, a granddaughter that's 8, and then Kristen, my other daughter. Kate was a cross country runner at Irmo, did a
Yeah.
great job there. Kristen was a cheerleader and was the coach at Irmo. We coached together for
Wow, that's beautiful.
for a while. She's the one, if anybody ever notices after the state championship game, she's the one that jumps on top of me and like takes me out after those state championship wins. But we're babysitting right now. Her 4-year-old Brian, my
Yeah.
namesake, my middle name, and
Brian Timothy.
and Noah, who is about to turn 2. So just
Keep,
really proud of them, and
keeping you
it's so
busy,
much
coach.
fun.
Keeping you
Pardon
busy.
me?
They keeping you busy,
Oh
coach.
yeah, well, especially right now. This is so funny. I'm sitting out here on a porch, which is absolutely beautiful, and there's a door into the living room with a doggy door.
Yeah.
Well, the 2-year-old, this entire time that we've been talking, keeps sticking his head out the
I think you doing so. I saw you
doggy
looking
door.
over there. Yeah.
Yeah, waving at me, and well, they call me coach, which I think it's kind
Are
of
you
yeah.
serious?
They call me coach. That's what I am. Which in a way, I said, well, everybody calls
That's
me coach. That's not special. But then at the same time, it is pretty special, to
it
be a
is.
coach.
That's
It's an
cool. That's
honor.
really cool. That's really
And
cool.
and to have them call me that is pretty good. But he's saying coach, coach, and he's waving at me.
Man,
So
that is beautiful right now. I don't have great
pretty.
kids yet, but I don't know. Hope they call me something cool also when that date, whenever that time comes. But coach, I will wrap it up with this. So I want you to name your family. So what did the last thing, what do you want to be remembered by during your career, and what did basketball give you that you would cherish the most from
Well,
basketball sports in general and basketball?
yeah. Obviously, I mean, my entire life has been spent working with young men, working with other people's families, with their kids, and with parents and administrators and teachers and in the coaching profession. You can't. There is not a better fraternity in the world than the coaching profession,
Yeah.
and the friendships that you have, and you all compete, you all want to win, but when you step off the floor, those relationships that you have with those other coaches has
Yeah.
been just so special to me.
Yes.
And then obviously those players, those kids. One of the things I do, and I know we need to close up here, but one of the things I always did that I enjoyed more than anything else in the world is that and I didn't start this till about the 90s. I visited every single one of my basketball players who played in college, went to see them practice at least once into a game if I could, but I'd always go and spend a day wherever they went. And sometimes that was going from Francis Marion and Dietrich to VMI where Tavon was, in a day,
Wow.
which is 5, 6 hours, and then making the rounds. but those relationships
Beautiful.
that you have with the young men that you coach
Yeah.
that are willing to do so much for you,
Yeah.
and give back, do anything for you.
Yeah.
Those relationships are what it's all about. And of course I you want to win games. You
Absolutely.
want to win championships. You want to do that stuff. That's important,
Yeah.
but because it's important to them. But when you look back, you don't remember the wins as much as you do those young men and what they did and the sacrifices they made to be successful. And so that's what I think, and I hope that's what I'm remembered as. I hope they know that I helped them mold their lives to be successful after they graduated, after they let the ball, took the air out of the ball, or whatever you want to say.
Man,
That, to
listen.
me, that's important.
That's great, man. And you know what? You said that perfectly. And you know what? Even better than that, also who goes side by side with what you said. Again, BJ's interview right up on my page, YouTube, Hough Nation Sports Timeout Convos. BJ, when he talked about you, you could sense it, how he felt about you as a
Well, I go
human.
see him every year.
Yeah, that conversation was totally all encompassing. It was not it was basketball. It was the man, the father figure, the mentor. It was all in there. So you can't beat it because you maximize what you can get out of basketball. I think you did. You got multi-time Hall of Famer, 6-time champion, legend of the game here in South Carolina, Coach Tim Whipple. I am honored, as I am with all of my guests, that you share some time out of your day and your busy life to talk to me in a timeout convo. I wish you could continue success as a grandfather and on into retirement and a golf coach.
Yeah. Oh, especially that. Well, it's a pleasure,
No doubt.
and it is nice to be able to, after you've retired, to do something like this, because it is special. It means a lot to be remembered.
No doubt, Coach. Thank you for being part of
Okay.
Timeout Convos on Hough Nation Sports YouTube channel. And we'll be talking down the road on some other topics, but appreciate you, and you have a great rest of your evening,
Okay.
Coach. Thank you so much.
Take care, Stace. Thank you.
Yes, sir.